we go. We are live. All right. Hopefully, we are live and people can see us. Welcome, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. Bienvenue. Hi, Isra. How are you today?
Hey, what's going on? I'm doing well. I'm excited for this.
I'm excited as well. So, before we get started, let me just give a quick intro. My name is Hatim Bilyamani, also known as Hat, is my artist name, and I am the founder and director of Remix Culture. And today we're doing something special. We're doing something new, which we haven't done before, which is the definition of new. We are presenting a whole bunch of content in this sort of interactive live stream way. In the past, we have released our material on our website, and we have very rich content from like music videos to remixes to sample packs, and we thought it would be a good idea to really kind of showcase the content and highlight it, and also invite the artist to join us. She will be with us very shortly. She's currently in Marrakesh, and we're hoping that the technology will cooperate with us and allow us to have this beautiful moment and share it with you today. So we're gonna share some of the content on the website, and we'll walk you through it, and we'll have a lot of fun and have a conversation. And we would love to take questions. So if you are on the YouTube chat right now, please don't hesitate to write down any questions, and Esra will be keeping an eye on it, and we'll do our best to get to those questions and involve Khadija as much as possible. Before I start showing you some of the content, I wanted to give Esra the chance to introduce herself as well.
Hey, Hat team. I'm so excited. We're finally able to pull this together. I want to say السلام عليكم مرحبا بكم قاعد الناس اللي كاينين معانا دابا. It seems like we have people from all over, from Ireland, from US, from Maghreb, from Jazair, from all over the United States, Europe. Uh, so I just want to thank you, Hatim, for inviting me to do this with you and really honor Khadija Warzazia's work and the project that she did with you for Remix Culture. Uh, it really, the reason why I love what you do so much is because you respect the traditional, right? You really honored and give space for the traditional, and then also you give space and fluidity for innovation. That's like for me, in my opinion, the base of what you do. So the reason why I'm here and the reason why, just to give you everybody here an introduction of who I am and why I'm here, is my name is Isra Warda. I live in New York City. I'm a dancer. I specialize in popular and traditional dances from North Africa, specifically in Algeria and Morocco. And how this connects with Khadija is because I've been working with Khadija for the past few years. I've been dancing with her troupe, Bnat Lahwariyat, that's based out of Marrakesh, out of Marrakesh. And we've been cultural collaborators for a while. She's a mentor of mine. She's somebody that I love and respect very much. And I also, do a lot of her management and booking for international work and concerts and stuff like that. So I also today will be helping with facilitating the interview with Khadija and taking all the questions. So please, anytime throughout the chat, throughout the live stream, if you want to post questions in the chat, I will be collecting them and we will try our best to get through all of them throughout the live stream. Thank you, Hatim.
Shukran, thank you, Isra. Marhaba bik. Welcome. Let's get started with a little preview of the website, which is currently password protected, but at the end of the live stream, we'll remove that password protection so you can actually go on your own and check it out. So here we go. I'm going to share the screen. All right, so as you can see, we have this full pager on our collaboration with Khadija at Warzazia. Um, this collaboration was made possible initially through a grant by the Khat Foundation, and it was a really beautiful kind of coincidence how we met with Khadija. I happened to be in Morocco looking for traditional musicians from Marrakesh, and long story short, there were a lot of different connections. A lot of the times in Morocco, the way that I actually am able to come into contact with musicians is by following this sort of trust network, asking people who know someone, and sometimes it just turns into this serendipitous moment where I'm at the right place at the right time, and that was the case with Khadija. I was in Marrakesh at the right place at the right time. Ended up being invited to her then manager's home, Fatima Al-Azadi, who was very generous and took us there, and I showed her some of the remix content that we had done, and she was really excited about working with us. And so we decided to do a recording and video and a full-on collaboration with an actual performance that we did at the end of the program. So this was happening in Marrakesh, and all of this was done at this amazing old home in the heart of the Medina of Marrakesh called Dar Bellerj, and we were really lucky to have the unbelievable support of Maha Al-Madi, who just sort of generously gave us all of her love and time and assisted us with all things logistics and otherwise. And we were able to film in this beautiful home that you can see pictured over here. So the website, consistent with all of our releases of traditional bands, as Esra was saying, our approach is really to try to connect the traditional and the innovative, the past and the future, and the local with the global. So we really are looking for any possible ways that we can create connections, more human connections, cross-culturally, within the communities. So one of the ways that we do that is by starting with the music, because we really feel that the music, especially traditional music, it's such a strong tether. It's sort of like a tether to the collective wisdom of our ancestors, and it gives us so much meaning, and it has a lot of depth. It's a way for us to reach into, our collective soul and what it means to be human. So we really love starting with traditional music and then finding connections out of that. So one of the connections that we are facilitating is connections with other audiences, other musical worlds, which is the remix world. And so this is why on the website we have all of this content, so that you can first watch the music, and we'll show some of the music videos that we produced, and there's translations and subtitles so that you can understand the meaning of their songs, and you can also listen to the album without the videos, and you can also support the band and remix culture by purchasing it. And when you do that, we have a fair trade model, which means that we split all net proceeds equally among all co-creators. So in the case of the album, it would be a 50-50 split. And then we have examples of remixes. Now this happens to be me, because this has not been released yet, so I was the only person who had prior access to the content, and I was able to make a remix, which I will show you in a little bit. But in the future, we hope to have more remixes that we can showcase in this section over here. And then here is everything that you need to get started making a remix. So for those of you who are remix artists, who are interested in becoming a remix artist, or who know people who are remix artists and want to do it in a way that's more connected, we strongly encourage you to come and check out our content. These samples are amazing. They're very meticulously put together, and they have a lot of educational content, because we take the time to make sure that they accurately represent the source music, the time signatures, the meters, and all of that. I could get really dorky about that, but the point is that we want to make sure that when people use these samples, that they understand the context and they can feel the rhythms correctly, and so that when they're making their remix, they're closer to the source. And of course, once you have fun and make a remix, we invite you to join our collective, and we can put you in touch with the artist, with Khadija herself, and you can have an actual conversation. And if we get to the point where you have a remix that you want to release commercially, at that point, same thing. We have a fair trade model that ensures that all of the net proceeds get split evenly. These are all free, so we both have an open source and a fair trade model. The open source means we want our content to be widely accessible, free, and easy to get to. But if there's any point where there's money to be made, we want to make sure that there's a fair revenue split. So these are all the remixable content over here, and you can really spend a lot of time checking out. We also have video samples, and I will show you in my remix what you can do with video samples. These are videos that have isolated sounds in them. So if you want to just do a remix of Khadija's vocals or of this instrument, the naqos, you can do it with videos as well. And then at the bottom of the page, we have more information about the band, the names of all the band members, and of course a bio, so you can learn more about the tradition and the background behind the band. And then finally, we have lots of photos from our beautiful time with the band. So that is our website in a nutshell. We encourage you to dive in after this live stream whenever you have a chance. Esra, do we have Khadija on the line?
Yes, she is.
All right.
You bring her in?
Yes, please.
يلا خديجة. الو السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم. مرحبا مرحبا.
عليكم بخير.
الحمد لله. كي دايرة اختي؟
الله يبارك فيك. كي دايرة حاتم؟ كي داير مع شي عمل؟
الحمد لله. احنا صابرين وصافي وخدمة موجودة والحمد لله.
إسراء كي دايرة؟ لاباس عليك؟ بخير؟
لا مزيان، راني فرحانة بزاف، فرحتيني. قتلتينا بالزين ما شاء الله. يعني
شوية غير البركة تاعت المغربي.
I'm going to translate a little bit, sorry here. So we're just of course just exchanging hellos, happy to see each other, and Esra is telling Khadija that we're really happy to see her, and that she's just kind of like illuminating our space with the beauty of her work and her beauty.
خديجة، نتمناو باللي هاد الفيديوهات اللي غادي نطلقوها اليوم في هاد الستريمينغ غادي يعجبوك
إن شاء الله.
صراحة الخدمة اللي درتيه مع حاتم يعني كان خدمة فريمون توب بزاف، ونتمناو الجمهور كامل كيعجبهم.
شكرا.
وغادي نكسروا شويه نهضروا على الاغاني اللي غنيتيهم، ونحكوا شويه عليك انتي واش كديري، الباركور ديالك، حكايه ديالك كيفاش دخلتي في الفن. وكاينين بزاف ديال الناس اللي كيشوفوك ديما في السوشيال ميديا وكيشوفوك في يوتيوب، اللي غادي يشوفوا هاد الفيديوهات هادو اللي باغيين يتعرفوا عليك شويه. بغينا نعرفوا شكون هي خديجه الورزازيه، معروفة بالأغنية تاع أمك يا أمك.
So Isra is showering her with praise and saying that all of the videos that the sneak peek previews that we've shown online have been met with a lot of enthusiasm, and that she should be proud of her work, and that we really want to get to know her a little bit more during this call, and she's inviting Khadija to share any stories or anything about her work or her personal life.
Yeah,
So,
I think we should get started. Let's go.
all right. So let's play our first video then. Okay. غادي نبداو بمولاتي. Okay. Woo! Wow. الله يعطيكم الصحة. Was
Khadija,
that some Esra? Were you
I was
were you were you doing this like I was?
always. Y'all were lucky that my camera wasn't on because Khadija, بارك الله
نعم.
عليك. تبارك الله عليك.
بارك الله
وهذه
فيك.
الخدمة اللي درتوه يعني سيتي مانيفيك. وش رايك في هذا الفيديو؟
هذا الهواري كيتميز بالتراث ديال البلاد عندنا المغرب. حنا مغاربه، هذا تراث ما عمرو كيموت. هذا هو التراث بحال التراث الاخرين اللي ما عمرهم كيموتوا. هذا من التراث.
This is culture. This is traditional music. It never will die.
she also سمحي لي خديجة غير نترجم ليك نترجم en anglais. She's saying this is Hawara music, Moroccan music, Moroccan traditional music. This is culture and it never dies, right? ممكن خديجة تحكي معنا شوية على موسيقى ديال التهواريت زعما
واخا تهورت، يعني جات من هواره وهي من كارودنت وتفرقت. يعني المدن بحال دابا حنا مراكشيين كنخدموها في شكل، تارودنت كيخدموها في شكل، وفيها مفرقه على جوج. كاين الهوار الثقيل، كاين حماده، كاينه الفرده. الفرده وتهورت كلام مزن، كيهضر على الحياة، كيهضر على الحب، كيهضر على الدنيا، على المشاكل، على أي حاجة كاينة في الوقت. وإلا الهواري لقاو شي مرصوات فيهم كاينين كنعيشوهم. هذا هو الهواري.
You wanna translate it though?
So Khadija said that Tahuwarit is another way of saying Hawara. I believe Tahuwarit is the Amazigh way of saying Hawara. Like if you say Gnawa, you say Tsagnawit, so on and so forth. So she's saying that the roots and the origins of Tahuwarit or Hawara music is from the region of Teru dance. Also, I believe she didn't say this, but I'm just going to include it as well. Wuled Tima as well, also is a place where there is Hawari music, but it expanded and there are different interpretations of it in Marrakesh. So she's saying that the way they are playing Tahuwarit here is different than the way that they play Tahuwarit in Teru dance and the region of the Sus region, which is lower than Marrakesh. So she's saying that there's again, this is a Marrakesh style Huwara. Tahuwarit, the way that they play it, is special to Marrakeshiyat, to Huwariyat. This is exactly why they call themselves Huwariyat. And that Huwara, there's different styles. There's Firda, and also it speaks about life problems, experiences. She said that a lot of artists sometimes speak about exact experiences that they endured. That it's about spirituality, people's problems, common issues, life, family, love, things like this. Yes. Yeah. بغيت نسولك على كاينه شي وحده اللي سولتنا في يوتيوب، قالت لينا شحال انتوما كتلعبوا انت والفرقه ديالك، شحال وانتوما لاعبين ensemble. So I'm just asking her a question. دقيقه معايا خديجه. Somebody asked how long have they been playing together. تفضلي.
الموسيقى انا بديتها صغيره. دابا راه تقريبا دروكا راه شي 26 عام انا في الموسيقى. أنا هي حواري شعبي. كنخدم حتى قناوي. تحيه القناوه كاملين ونحييهم.
كيفاش
الفن، انا عائلتي موسيقيين. انا حليتها في الموسيقى. الوالد الله يرحمه فنان، كان تيعزف على العود على الكمان. قناوي عندنا من الدار قناوي. خويا موسيقي حتى الان يعزف على الالات كاملين. عندي خويا الاخر حتى هو. يعني انا حليت عينيا في الموسيقى، كانت عزيزه علي. الهوايه كنت نقرا، وديما الهوايه ديالتي هي الموسيقى. ديما تيقولوا لي الهوايه ديالتك خديجه شنو؟ كنقول لهم انا الموسيقى. وكنت ندير حفلات ملي طلعت للثانوي في عيد العرش. ديك الساعه انا كنتكلف في الحفله، يكون عيد العرش الناس
درت ميو حيدوا الميوت عافاكم.
Do you want to translate here? Just
خديجة غنترجم شنو قلتي. So she was saying that she started music when she was young. She's been playing music for 26 years, and she plays many different traditional music styles. This is her specialty. Hawara is what you just saw now. Sha'bi, which is what you'll see next. And Gnawa music. A lot of people here should know that Khadija's first line of education is Gnawiya. يا خديجة انتي قناوية. هذا هو الخط ديالك الأول ياك.
الدم. الدم.
in her blood.
Her blood. She's saying Gnawa is her first.
موسيقى كلها هي وين تقناويت شويه.
هو الحب هو العمر.
العمر.
So she's saying she loves all music, but Gnawa music is her first love. And she said that her family comes from she comes from a musical family, and her father, may he rest in peace, was a musician. He used to play oud and kamanja, what we call violin. And her brothers are musicians. She grew up amongst traditional music, and this was her destiny in a way. And she said that when she used to go to school, she never really desired to be in school, that she always wanted to play music. She always wanted to organize parties. She always wanted to be like the MC of a party. And this is who she is in her family. دابا خديجة، هاد الفرقة ديال البنات اللي كنعرفهم فاتحة والبنات كاملين، شحال نتوما لاعبين انصامبل؟ يعني بحال
راه عمر شنو نقول لك، راه تقريبا من 95 94 95.
So I asked how many years has she been playing with all of these women in the bands, all of her colleagues. She said since 94. Yeah, that's what she said. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
من 94 95.
Yeah, since 1994 and 1995. So they've been around. Somebody also asked me, Hatim, the song Mulete, is this in 7/8 or 5/8?
Both. It starts in 7/8 and it goes into 5/8, and we could get really dorky there, but there's something really beautiful about. This is an example of how Moroccan traditional music feels different time signatures. So if you were to take the whole song and then like cut it up into like the 7/8 sections and then the 5/8 sections, which we did in order to create the sample packs, you will see that they line up exactly. It's as if there's one overall time signature, which is 2, like 1 2, but then in the first half of this song, that 1 2 is divided by 7, and then in the second half is divided by 5. But you could have a metronome, and it would actually line up the whole way through, which is a little bit hard to understand, but it's also just incredible that they can switch from 7 to 5 and maintain like a global tempo. It's some like deep, I don't know what to call it, but it's really sophisticated.
خديجة، كاين لاله سلمى اللي كاينه معنا في يوتيوب، سولت لينا سولاتك هي واش هما الشباب ديال المغرب باغيين يتعلموا على الموسيقى التقليديه، ولا يعني سبيسيفيكمون الموسيقى ديال التهواريت. يعني شايفه كاين الجمهور، كاين لا جونيس اللي باغيين يتعلموا على هذا التراث.
So the question here is from the chat. اسمح لي أقدر نترجم السؤال. From young people in Morocco who are interested in learning this tradition, which we love to hear. So the question is, what are some of the resources available to them? تفضلي.
كاين شباب اللي بغى يتعلم يقع على الهواري. كاينين دراري جون كيحماقوا على الهواري، ولكن مع الاسف خاص لان الهواري صعيب ماشي سهل، وما ما كرهناش تكون شي حاجه باش الناس يتعلموا على هذا الهواري. ما كرهناش، ما عندناش شي بلايص اللي انهم يعني نقولوا شي جمعيات اللي باش يكونوا اليوم فيهم هاد الهواري هذا يخدموا الناس ويتعلموا ليه بحال مدرسه. الناس بغاو، ولكن خص كيف نقولوا ميزانيه باش ديري شي بلاصه، وباش يعني خاص بزاف. الهواري اش غادي نقول لك، عنده اقبال في اوروبا بزاف. اوروبا عنده اقبال لانه انا الهواري جلت به ما خليت به كدوله ما خليتها به. امريكا مشيت لها جوج ثلاث خطرات، تحيه لهم كاملين. كنت في مينيسوتا، كنت في واشنطن، هواري فرنسا بزاف، عدد اسبانيا، بولونيا، الانجليز، مانيرمان، بزاف. فيه اقبال، كيبغيو كيعيشوا مع داك النغم ديال الهواري بزاف. ومع الاسف هنايا دابا حاليا اش غادي نقول لك، هنا راه الهواري قليل اللي كيخدموا، ماشي كل شي ربيع كيديروا الهواري. حاليا هاد الشيء اللي ناض كاينه غير القريحه يعني، اما الهواري كاينين الناس اللي كيخدموا، تحيه لهم كاملين. كاينين القسطاويات، كاينين البريميات، كاينين يعني كاينين الناس اللي كيخدموا، ولكن الاقبال ديالو فين كاين في اوروبا، يعطيوه قيمه. دوزت به جاز، سجلت به جاز درت به هواري، دوزت به جاز، دوزنا به سهره، دوزت به سهره كبيره في الرباط، موازين كاع للناس. هذا المنبر اللي كاع تعرفوا ورزازيا داخل المغرب وخارج الهواري عنده واحد النغم بوحدو. انا كنحماق على الهواري،
وراني نشوف حتى هواري كيحماق عليك
صراحه. فيه كلام، فيه معنى، فيه بزاف.
انا كنحماق على الهواري.
قلت علاش لي زانستريمون سيك، ولكن ملي كتجي تشوف كل معهم اش كيعطيك المنغمه. تجي تحس كل ما يعني هذا الماعون ما كيضربش بحال هذا، وهذا ما كيضربش بحال هذا، اللي كنكونوا خدامين كل الايقاع ديالو فين غادي في نفس الوقت يكون ايقاع واحد. يعني ما ساهلش بحال قلتي الجاز. ما راه هي غاديه مره طالعه مره هابطه مره.
نترجموا شي شويه. You wanna go?
I got it. نترجم شي شوية لخديجة. I've been taking notes so I don't
Oh,
forget.
great. Yeah.
So firstly, Khadija has started by saying, so there are young people who are interested in learning Tawarit, and there's people who really love Hawara music. I know, for example, Abdul Ghafoor اللي ديما معاك كيحماق على هو كاين معاك دابا هو كيحماق على التواريت. But she says that there are some difficulties around learning Tawarit because she would love, ideally, for there to be like a school or associations or more official ways of transmission and people learning, like from masters to students. And this is a problem that's not only in Morocco, that's in North Africa in general. We have an issue around institutionalizing traditional music and creating the pathway between learning the music between masters and students. You essentially you have to seek it out right on your own, unofficially, which is something that I've done as well. And she's saying that she feels that both unfortunately and fortunately, she's found that Tahueri's music and the music that she does also as well, the other styles, she's found more worldwide acceptance for when she travels outside of Maghreb, for instance. This is not only a Moroccan issue, this is all traditional music issue as well. That in Europe, we often find people who are more interested in the music, and there's more infrastructures for preserving and playing the music. So she's saying that she traveled to all over Europe, to Spain, to England. She's came even to the United States once or twice, and we hope for her to be back, inshallah. And people all over the world connect with Hawara music, she says, and that's even more reason for it to preserve it. But there needs to be more. There needs to be more youth interested, and she's even worked with jazz musicians, for instance, the Mawazin Festival in Rabat, I think, where there were jazz musicians who were interested in learning Tawarit music. Jazz musicians not from Maghreb, Western jazz musicians. Lastly, she said that the beautiful thing about Tawarit is it's difficult. It's really difficult to learn. It's very complex and sophisticated rhythms, and every single instrument, she says, she's playing it sec, which means dry. Huwariyats or la'abats, they usually play only percussion and voice, and that's when you're playing it dry, just percussion and voice, you get to really experience each instrument as its own universe. Each rhythm is its own unique pattern, but all 5 or 6 of them together are like one voice. Yeah.
I just wanted to add, it's beautiful. Thank you so much, Isra. You really captured everything that she said. The last thing she said is when she was describing how the individual instruments are universes in and of themselves, and then together they create the single voice. She said it's like jazz. It's like that's how she sees it. It's kind of the similar vibe, similar approach. أختي خديجة هضرتي على تهواريت وقلتي تهواريت كيشبه الجاز ياك دابا انا غادي ندوز واحد الفيديو واحد الجاز اللي صوبت انا بالموسيقى ديالكم ان شاء الله غادي يعجبك غنشوفو. So I'm gonna play now a video just to kind of to speak about this whole jazz thing. Um, and I felt that this is something that I've been working on this entire during the pandemic. I went really deep with this material, preparing the samples, and I was actually experiencing what she was describing with all of the different, as I was working with all the different loops, and each loop, as you will see later, is broken down into the different instruments. And the months that I've spent working with that, I was able to really kind of like feel all of that depth, and I started playing on the piano, which is something that I hadn't really been doing before in my remix practice. And so recently I decided to try to do this experiment, to kind of bring, I wouldn't call it necessarily jazzy, but like it's like a jazz element in the sense that she's describing how, those different instruments coming together to create something unique and wholesome. So without further ado, let us play the next video. All right, we are back. ايوا اختي خديجة.
انت ما نقول هذاك الشيء غزال.
الله يحفظك. ايوا نديرو شي جروب. صافي دابا نديرو شي جروب. ها؟
ما كاينش المزاح. صافي داك الشيء واعر.
الله يحفظك.
Yeah, I think we should go on to the next video. What do you think?
Okay, sure.
خديجة
نعم.
غادي نوريك فيديو ديال الشعبي. يلا.
All right, let's keep the flow going.
يلا داك الشيء علاش تحماق ياك.
عيني هكا.
ايوا على الشعور.
So Khadija is down for us to start a band based on that remix. So I'm happy. Here we go.
All right, يلا. وش دي راسك؟
يلا على العالي.
يا ولد مسكين بالرادة
Oof. العافية. On fire. Is that something?
نشاط نشاط ديما نشاط.
نشاط نشاط.
خديجة ما نقول.
And where do they get the energy? و هاد الأغنية فوقاش شجنا مع ديك العشرة د الليل ياك، وحنا كنا خدامين من الوحدة. صحيح. كيفاش كديروا باش النشاط يبقى دائما حتى جوج د الليل ولا جوج الصباح ولا 4 الصباح؟
تيعقلش بنادم على راسو ملي تيكون خدام. خدمه الخدمه ريال لا لقى داكشي اللي بغا، يعني جو زوين والطبيعه وبنادم خدام خاطرو ما تشعرش كاينش مشكل.
I asked her where they get the energy to keep playing with that kind of passion and virtuosity and you know, and just fire. I noted that particular song was recorded late at night. We had been working all day from like 10 in the morning setting up, and we were done I think around like midnight. And she said, you know, when you're in the zone, when you're working in a good environment, you just kind of like get into almost like a trance, and you don't really feel it.
والخديجة عقلت واحد مرة، عقلتي هذاك المرة اللي لعبنا أنا وياك معك في باك ستيج في كازا، بنتيش تحيدوا الميوت. أيوا وعقلت باللي الحاجة اللي سبيسيال فيكي انتيا باللي انتي متلعبيش، يعني غير الاغاني صافي غادي نلعب 5 ولا 6 ديال الاغاني وغادي نطبق نمشي. انتي كتمشي كديري بحال كديري علاقه مع الناس، مع الاودينس اللي كاينين تما، زعما على حسب داكشي اللي كيعطيو انت كتعطي ليهم.
ما يمكنش، لان علاش كيتسمى بنادم، علاش كيتسمى هو فن، كيتسمى انسان فنان الا كان قدام لي بوبليك، الا ما تجاوبش معاك لي بوبليك نزل في حالك، هي سير في حالك بوبليك يكون مجاوب معاك. يعني شنو هي الخدمه؟ هي على ملي كيوقف انسان فوق منصه، الجمهور، الناس لما تجاوبوش معاك نزل في حالك، ما كاينه خدمه. هذه وقعت لي في هولندا، مشيت خدمه في هولندا. المهم وانا اللي كاينه في هذاك الحفل، انا اللي كاينه وجاي العامل ديال تما وسميتو. هذيك الناس اللي استقبلوني شافوني انا والبنات ويتاح لهم العجب، قالوا هادو لي فام، هاد الناس كيفاش بغا يديروا جايبين الوزن ديالنا عادي. المهم انا حسيت بهم، مشينا دخلنا، المهم الى اخره. الخلاصه ديال القول وصلوا السبيكتاكل، جينا دخلنا بينا نديرو بينا نريبيتيو. المهم طلعت هو يقول لي داك السيد باقي تنعرف، شوفي اختي خديجه انت لا سين خصك في الاول تبداي ثقيله شويه وفي الاخر خصك ديري الحماس والناس خايفين. يعني انا حسيت انا تنقول ليه ايه واخا. المهم طلعنا درنا قادتنا مسائل دوزنا ريبيتيسيون ديالتنا نزلنا. انا نقول لهم دخلت قلت للبنات قلت لهم عرفت قلت لهم ايه هو يدخل عندي هو يقول لي واش ممكن، قال لي تكملي، واش ممكن تضربي صح الله روب ديال الخدمه وهذا. قلت له ان شاء الله ممكن نشوف. انا ما بينت ليش واش انا اعوذ بالله قلت انا داير تحت الله واش تستني انا في الصينات ولكن انا بحكم انا حسيت به هو خايف ودور السيد اللي تكلف دور ليه نحييه من هذا المنبر الا شافني غادي يعرف هذه القصه دور ليه قال ليه الناس اللي جا واش وليت ويقول لي شوف راه انا صيفط لك هذيك السيده تكمل الحفل ديالك الساعه هذا هضر معاه انا هذا الشيء ما تعاود لي حتى الاخر المهم طلعنا بدينا قسما بالله لا طلعت هذيك المنصه اش بغيت نقول لا ما يحبس ما كاينش عرفتي هذاك اش بغيت نقول لك هذيك القاعات تجي الهك عباد الله قسما بالله الا البكا في شي مرسوات الا بكا وما بغيتش نحبس شحال ضربت قسما بالله الا ضربت ساعه ونص وغاديه لساعتين الله رو طلعت الخدمه ما حبس شكون اللي حبسني هو اللي حبسني داك اللي قال لي واش ممكن ما بغيتش نحبس تيجي لي هو هكايا وانا حلفت لا حبس حلفت انا لا حبس خدامين الطياره خدامين باش حبسني بمشي مونطع الورد هو يطلع تيجري عندي فانا عشت طالع عندي بالمشموم وداك الشيء عاد وليت حبست عاد تبدا نقني وباص لي راسي وقال لي اسميتو عباد الله ما بغات تمشي المهم الى اخره عرفتي الجو ديال الحفلات في اوروبا كيفاش تكونوا الناس كيكونوا مشتاقين المغاربه وبزاف د الحوايج ولا كانت شي ربعه مغربيه خدامه عندهم كيفرحوا بها كلشي بغا يتصور كلشي الى اخره مني دخلت هو يدخل عندي هو يقول لي كنت منك السمح كيف قال لي في الحقيقه نهار نزلتو انا قال لي حضرتكم كنشوف العيالات كنقوم كنقول هاد الناس اش بغا يديروا وانا نقول ليه شوف العود اللي تحقر هو اللي تيطلق بالعين ما عمر الانسان يحقر الانسان حيت حنا كاع وحيده ما يحقرش الانسان خويا حيت راه ممكن داك اللي تحقر يقدر يعطي شي حوايج ما يكونوش عندك
معلوم
وانا خدمتي راه عرفتي راه خدمتي كيفاش داير انا بعد الخطرات تنكون معاك في شي سبيكتاكل تتولي انت تتقولي لي ها العربه راك هي اون بوز هي شويه هادشي اللي كاين
هادشي اللي وقع ليا
والحمد لله انا تنفتخر بهذا الفن هذا تنفتخر به بزاف وغادي نبقى نفتخر به ديما لان هذا الفن وصلني بزاف الحمد لله تقريبا ما غاديش نقول كلشي ولكن شفت اللي ما شافوش شي ناس يعني درت العالم به ما خليت الحمد لله حتى دوله وهذا الشيء ماشي كنبان به فمي ولا كاينين كلشي كتعرفيه كاينين الناس اللي خدموا معايا فيه الحمد لله وعندي ارشيفات ديالي اللي ما عمرهم غادي يموتوا اش غادي نقول لك الحمد لله خدمت به وجلت به وشفت به الدول كلها هي الحمد لله وعطى اقبال والحمد لله
غير نترجم داكشي اللي قلتي. Just to give a conclusion of the story she told us a story about well, first I mentioned, Hatim made the point about how does she have so much energy, how does her group have so much energy, and I brought up the time that we had we worked together in this gig in Casablanca and I almost like passed out from how she would not stop. She just kept going for like, we were supposed to have a 45-minute slot and she went on for like 2-ish hours. And I was like, and I was saying the thing that's special about Khadija is that she first 5 minutes ago she said, and forgive me if I miss one or two things, Hatim. I'm trying to line up all
yeah,
the.
I'll help you.
First, she said an artist who's not accepted by the public is not an artist. They should get off the stage.
Yeah, they should just pack their bags and go.
Should pack their bags and go. She's saying that for you to
Or
be
not connecting with the audience.
exactly that her energy is rooted in the connection and the communication with the public, right? Um, so she feels that she feels that if you don't have that kind of audience that really gets excited to see you on stage, then like you said, you need to pack your bags and go. She told us a story about this one time in Holland, um, and that she was invited to do a concert with her band, and at first the organizer was kind of like a little skeptical about them, kind of looking at them like, what are these women, these Muslim women from Morocco, like, what are they about to do? He was a little nervous, like, what's about to happen? He was trying to like micromanage them and do this and do that, and worried about what the outcome of their concert was going to be. Um, and he kept trying to guide them and tell them, you should do this, and she was just like, yeah, 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 don't worry about it, like, you just stay in your corner, we got this, right? So she ended up doing a performance, and it blew up the stage. The audience was incredibly happy. She was so, she was saying she was so on fire. The women was on fire. The audience was on fire that they couldn't stop. They're almost like 2 hours playing straight with no pause, right? Um, and at the end of the day, the man who was responsible the event was telling them, like, I'm so sorry that I had doubts about you from the beginning, because I never expected to have to see this amazing energy that you created with the audience. And she essentially was saying the moral of the story is that one should never underestimate anybody or judge them, prejudge them without knowing who they are, because you don't know what they're capable of, essentially. Is that all of, is that, was that what all of
Yeah,
the,
that's the basic gist of it. Yeah, and then it's a window into her energy, which is, she is both very tender and loving. You can have these like very like tender moments with her, but when she means business, she means business. She has this like fierce energy, and I saw that working with her. That at times she was playful, but then when she needed to like really get things in order, she was like, I'm the boss here, and I know how to get this done professionally, and this is how we're gonna do it.
yep. I have two really good questions that, if we could just take these questions before we move on to the
Yeah,
next.
sure.
Miriam and Layla have repeatedly asked. I'm so sorry that I haven't got to that question. I want to give a shout out to Miriam who's in Canada. خديجة، كاينة وحدة حبيبتي، وحدة صاحبتي مريم اللي ساكنة في كندا، اللي سولتنا كيفاش انتي تعلمتي الموسيقى ديال التهواريت، وشكون هما الناس بالضبط اللي علموك هاد التراث، هاد التقاليد هذا ديال التهواريت.
التقاليد ديال التوريت وقيت اللي خرجت انا للميدان. خرجت الله يرحم واحد السيده كان بغي نترحم عليها، تيقول لها لا ما علمتي الوالده ديالي هو هي، ولكن كنزه الله يرحمها هي ما علمتي.
ما سمعتكش مزيان، قلتي لي كنزة.
واحد السيده سميتها كنزه، سميتها لا كنزه، هي ما علمتي.
ايوا
واخا الوالده كانت تدير هذا الفن ديال سميتها الكواري شي، ولكن لا كنزه هي ما علمتي الله يرحمها. وخدمت معاها، ووقيته اللي خدمت معاها ديك الساعه يا الله عزيزه عليا هاد مولاتي. هاد مولاتي كنت وحق الله كنت ديما تزوجها تعجبني. واحد النهارات وهي تقول لي فاش بغيت نبدا، وهي تقول لي عرفتي انت اللي غادي تخرجي بهاد مولاتي. ما نقدرش، تنقول لها ما نقدرش الا كنزه. قالت لي لا انت اللي غادي تخرجي بها، وصافي وخرجت بها.
سبحان الله.
لا نقول بنادم باقي، بنادم باقي صغير وباقي ما نقول.
سبحان الله.
شرف كبير اللي خدمت مع مولاتي، والله الا شرف كبير دابا.
شي just to translate, she said that her mother plays Tawarit music. She comes from, you know, this in her family, but specifically she has a master that she learned from named Lalla Kenza, Allah yarhamha, who's no longer with us anymore. That she was the person who she was learning from, and that Moul Ate, which was the song the first song we played with, actually was a song that her معلمة, her boss Lalla Kenza, was telling her that this is the song that you're gonna get success with. This is a song that you need to do. This is your song. And Khadija was a little like skeptical and insecure about it. But now, ironically, that was the first song that we started this project presenting. So she was right. كان عندها الحق فينا المو لله كنزة. وتاني مريم سولت لينا واش التهوريت كتلعب غير مع البنات، زعما كاين فرقات ديال البنات وكاين فرقات ديال الدراري ياك؟
لا دابا حاليا ولاو الدراري حتى هما كيلعبوا الهواري، حتى هما الدراري ولاو دايرين مجموعات حتى هما تيلعبوا الهواري. وكاينين واصلا كان الهواري راه فيه رجال، هوارة كانوا الرجال كيلعبوا الهواري وحماده حتى هما يا رجال.
وعقلت واحد المرة she said that there are typically women play tawarit, but now there's men who make these groups, but she's saying originally there used to be more men playing back in the days. عقلت واحد المرة خديجة قلتي لي باللي كانوا بداو الفرقات ديال العيالات واللعابات والهواريات باسكو كانوا يعني الناس كانوا محتاجين العيالات يلعبوا في العراسات ديال العيالات، يعني كانت
لا كانوا واحد الوقت كانوا دابا الطيور كانوا الناس اللي كاينه الدار اللي ما يدخلش ليها الراجل، تكون عندهم مناسبه وتيكونوا الناس اللي هما موالين الدار تيقول لك الراجل مول الدار ما يدخلش عليه شي راجل وهذا كيبيعوا العيالات. يعني كانوا العيالات كيخدموا في الطيور الكبار، كيخدموا فيهم العيالات مع العيالات، الدور اللي ما يخدمش فيهم الراجل يدخلوا لهم العيالات. حاليا دروكا هذا الشيء ولا اللي قال هذاك ولا هذاك
لا عادي
ولا عادي.
So she's
جامع.
She was saying at some point in history there were some families that like the people who were holding down the house would not want men that were not part of the family to be inside the house, which was one of the reasons why they only used to have women people who played huwariyat play at these type of weddings. دوك عندي غير واحد last question، قال لي غير une question. عندنا صاحبتي ليلى تحية ليلى اللي ساكنة في بلجيكا، كعزيزة عليك، هي كتحماق عليك وهي حتى هي صاحبتي، ديما كنتلاقاو في بلجيكا، كتدوي عليك ديما تمنى تخدم معاك. هي سولتنا يعني هي فنانة، هي كتغني شعبي في بلجيكا، سولتك واش ممكن يعني البنات دابا بحالي انا ولا بحال ليلى يقدروا يتعلموا شعبي، موسيقى شعبيه منك انتي؟
اييه ممكن. كي تعلمت انا من عند انا راه تعلمت، ممكن اي واحد تحت ما تزاد معلم، احنا مش معلمين ولكن احنا كنتعلموا شي كيتعلم من عند شي. قال لك الشيخ بلا شيخ جبحو خاوي واني على يقين.
So I asked her, Layla asked the question, is it possible for women who want to learn Shabi music can come learn from her? And she said, absolutely. Just like I learned from somebody else, you know, Moroccan women can come learn from me. الحاجة نقول لك واحد الحاجة، نسولك واحد الحاجة هذه من عندي وصافي غادي نديروا الفيديو تخوازيام. اللي بغيت نقول لك باللي انتي كان عندك المعلمه ديالك، اش بان لي انا واحد كي يتعلم من معلم ولا معلمه اللي كاين بزاف ديال الحوايج اللي ميمكنش تسولي عليهم ديريكت. يعني كاين شي حوايج اللي اللي كتعلميهم غير كي تشوفي وكيتصنتي. كاينه ولا لا؟ يعني
ممكن
يعني كي تكوني
انت الوقيته ملي كتقبطي، حيت علاش الوقيته اللي كتقبطي لا باز ديالك شي حد ما كتجيبش شي حاجه اخرى الا سمعتيها واعره تقدري تخدميها، تقدري تغنيها. بحال الطفل اللي ملي كيجمع الكلمات وكيولي ينطق بهم، ما كتجي صعيبه الا حل شي كتاب ممكن يقرا لك.
انا بغيت نشرح لك باللي كاين شي حوايج اللي حنا نقدروا نتعلموهم من المعلمين غير يعني كي نشوفوا فيهم كنجلسوا حداهم. يعني بار اكزومبل الناس اللي كانوا يتعلموا من الشيخات قدام غير كيكونوا حداهم ولا يشوفوهم ولا هكا يشوفوا يعني كيفاش كيجلسوا وكيفاش كياكلوا وكيفاش كيتكلموا. ويعني كان بزاف حوايج اللي نقدروا نتعلموهم حنايا من المعلمين، لا من يعني غير كنشوفوا غير كنحلوا ودنينا وكنحلوا عينينا مزيان.
ممكن ولكن الا كانت البدايه من عند المعلم احسن ما يكون. اذا كانت البدايه شي حوايج من عند المعلم ولا المعلمه احسن ما يكون. يعني في الاخر كتكون الانطلاقه عندك زوينه، كتسمعي وكتشوفي وتقدري تقلدي وتقدري. ولكن الا كنتي طبتي شي حاجه بديتي بها من عند المعلم ولا المعلمه، راه بحال اللي كيقول لك راه يعني طبعت لك، يعني تقدري ديري اي حاجه.
Yeah. Want to translate that, Hatim?
Well, so she's saying, so we're talking about, different ways that these traditions can be transmitted, and Esther was talking about how it's not just the technical aspects of it. It's not just the music and the rhythms and all that, but it's also like the way of life. It's really kind of, it bleeds into the other parts of life and how they eat and how they get together and all of that. And so the discussions around how much can be learned by observing, by being like immersed in that culture and observing. And she said, yes, of course, that's also part of it. But the most important thing is really to have that kind of that foundational sort of like building block transmitted by a master. If you it's like you don't want to develop bad habits. If you start learning an instrument the like sloppy way, then it's going to be harder to unlearn that. So it's really helpful to get your head start by working with a master. And even if it's not your first step, it's like you can always like start from scratch and say, okay, now I'm developing this like foundation with the master, and then I can kind of like branch out from there. So now I think it might be good to show a little bit of the remixing component. I'll just kind of walk you a little bit through how to download and work with the samples that we are providing. So I'm gonna start by sharing. Oh, sorry, wrong screen. Where is this? There we go. Alright, so this is the website as I was showing you earlier. And so here you have shortcuts. If you want to start remixing, you click here. And then you have all of the audio goodies and then some video goodies. And you can actually preview some of them. So, for example, here, I can listen to these. And the preview shows you the time signature, the number of bars, the instrument, and all of that. So you can just like click play and just kind of get a feel for the kinds of sounds that you'll get. And if you are inspired, you can then click on one of these, and then it'll take you to this whole user agreement. So just to be clear, there's an incredible amount of work that has been put into doing this, and we're offering it as a gift to the world. So of course we want to make sure that when we're sending it to the world as a gift, that it is met as a gift, and that we honor and respect the connection and the relationship with the musicians and with our organization. So the agreement says that you can download this for free and you can be creative with it, you can make remixes, you can do whatever you want in terms of using the content, but the only restriction is that you cannot make any money from using this content. You cannot sell the samples, you cannot sell a remix from those samples without contacting us. Of course, if you get to the point where you make a remix and you're really excited, as some of the other remix artists have done in the past, you contact us. And then we can talk about getting a license agreement so that the remix can be released and the revenues will be shared. So you click agree, and then you put your name and your email address. The email address will be really helpful for us to be able to communicate with you. If there's any, for example, if there's any mistake that is identified with the samples, then we can correct them and we can re-upload the same sample pack, and you'll get a notification, and all you have to do is download it, and it'll explain what has been corrected. We haven't had to do that yet, but just in case. So that's one of the good reasons to have the email, is automatically things will get updated. The other reason is that we will be able to contact you when we have remix contest, which is something that we are planning to do. We really want to get the word out. If you have downloaded a sample pack, chances are you've at least tried to work with it. And so when we're ready to do a remix contest, we'd love for you to get that notification so that you can show us what you got. And then when you click continue, it allows you to download. I'm not going to actually download it because I already have it here. So what I will do instead is share my Ableton Live screen so you can see this. Alright, so this is an example of one of the sessions. So you'll see that there's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of stuff really, and it's kind of divided into the best of, and then there's a bunch of bonus loops if these are not enough. And you'll notice that all of the loops, there's a lot of different colors. So each row represents one loop. But because we recorded this whole band, we wanted you to have the full depth of that experience of each instrument, both as its own universe, like Khadija was saying, and also as a single voice. So I'll give you an example and I'll play this. So as you can hear, that's the full band. All the instruments are being looped there, and there's also a reference beat. This is part of the educational components. We want to make sure that when you're working with these samples, that you have a frame of reference. So this will really help you hear the rhythms the way that they were intended. So this is a beat that we created, very simple, just to give you kind of like a remix starting point. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna solo the instruments one by one, and you'll see how we have different. So this is one of the backup vocals, and then if we go to this one, it's one of the percussion instruments. That's another percussion instrument, the tar. And this is the lead vocals. And And then we have the darbuka. And then we have the tapsil. And then we have the dur. And more backup vocals over here. And then we have kind of the entire band room mics. And if you don't care about the different instruments, you want the whole band, you can also just have... And that's all layers mixed. And if we play everything together, this is what it sounds like with the beat. And you can take things out, in and out, and then you can really get creative. I'm not going to play all of the samples here because there's way too many, but just know that even in the more complicated time signatures like the 5/8 and 7/8, it's the same setup. We also have reference beats to help you understand how things line up, and all of the instruments are broken up. So that's just an introduction. I hope that that's enough for any of you out there who are excited about trying to remix our content. We'd love for you to get started. So back to my face. And I think this might be a good time to play another Khadija song. Shall we do that, Esra?
Yes, let's do it.
Yalla, bismillah. Share screen.
Well,
الله الله. الله الله ينورك اختي خديجة.
الله يخطيك.
واش رايك في هذا الفيديو اللي درنا ديال سيدي موسى؟
سيدي موسى عاري عليك. سيدي موسى راه غني عند التعريف. غزال هاد الشيء عندك زوين. ما عندي ما نسالك حاتم.
الله يحفظك. انا ما عندي ما نسالك.
هذه الفردة، هذه كنقولوا لها الفردة.
I think this is what we call فردة.
هذه هي الفردة. سيدي موسى عاري عليك. موت العدو موت.
نقول لك انتوما قلتوا الهواء ما الدواء.
هذا الهواء الهواء ما يداوى.
ممكن تشرحي لينا يعني
The question is asking. اسمح لي غير نترجم. The question is about one of the lyrics is love does not has no cure. There's no cure for love, and so Esra wants Khadija to elaborate on that. تفضلي.
هضري معنا شي شويه على هاد الجمله هذه، يعني واش عندها معنى؟
الهواء هو الهواء كيدوى الانسان. هو كيتسمى الهواء شي حاجه كتهويها. الهواء ما تيداوى. اش يداوي الهواء؟ ايه الهواء؟
She said, "What is the cure for love? It's just love. It's the only thing."
والهواء ما يداوى. الهواء ما كيداويه الهواء. شي هواء راه تيبان فيه وصافي.
لا كاين شي حوايج في هاد صراحه. هاد الاغنيه معروفه بزاف في التواريخ، يعني هو
قديمه هاد الاغنيه. سيدي موسى عاري عليك. موت العدو موت.
بزاف ديال الفنانين صوروها ولعبوها، وبزاف ديال وكاينين. عرفت كي ساعات كي خدمت في الترجمه ديال هذا الفيديو، وعقلتي جلست معاك شويه وقلت لك شرحي لي كاع المعاني ديال كلشي. يعني دخلت اكثر في هذه الاغنيه وفهمت اكثر في حوايج في هذه الاغنيه اللي ما فهمتهاش قبيله. يعني ما فهمتش قبل اللي هذه الاغنيه يعني فيه كل شيء. فيه الروحانيه، فيه الجهه الروحاني، فيه الجهه يعني شخصيا زعما جهه شخصيا، فيه جهه يعني ديال الحب. كل شيء كاين فيه. ممكن تدوي معنا شويه على كيفاش انت يعني شنو المعنى اللي كتعطيه هذه الاغنيه ديال سيدي موسى؟
نقول لك سيدي موسى كي قلتي داك الشيء اللي قلتي هو اللي كاين. كنعطيها كتهضر على كل شيء، كل حاجه منها شويه، من الحب، من الاديان، من اي حاجه كنعيشوها. كاين شي حوايج كنعيشوهم في نفس سيدي موسى. موت العدو موت. راه المعنى كله هو ديالها عطيتو لك، كله هو قلتو لكم. الا جيت نعاود الحوار ديالها حيت هي مترجمه، ترجمناها يعني بالنسبه للمغاربه عارفين كيفاش يعني الغنيات اللي فيها والكلمات لا ما نعاودو نترجموها لهم. ولكن الناس اللي في اوروبا وسميتو راه مترجمه كلها هي ترجمتها لك.
She's saying Sidi Musa. I asked her about Sidi Musa, like it's a song that has many, as all of you who read the translations can see, or people who understand Arabic can see that it has many different layers, right? It is a spiritual song, and
And
there
just to be clear, sorry, Sidi Musa is Moses.
and there was there is like the first sentence of this chorus is saying like singing to Sidi Musa, and then like all I hope all my enemies perish. So there's a it's deeply spiritual, it's deeply personal, as she said, uh, but it's also just representative of Hawara music that represents just like the spectrum of human experience, right? And she said it doesn't need any more translation. Y'all already read it, so no need for me to expand even more. That's what she, what she was saying. I don't think there's any more questions left in the chat.
Okay, great.
Have
Um,
you have anything you want to ask Khadija, or you know?
well, yeah, I mean, I think it'd be great. We just have just a few minutes before the end of the live stream. It'd be great to get a sense of where Khadijah's at, where the band is at these days. Any plans for the future? We all know that this last year has been, you know, a different year, and that has looked differently for different people. Yeah, if we can talk a little bit about the current situation and how the future is looking for her.
خديجة دابا قريب سالينا مع الستريمينج مع اللايف، وحنا بغينا نتعرفوا يعني كيفاش الخدمة، كيفاش كي دايره انت في هاد الفوضى اللي انا عايشين فيه ديال كورونا، وكيفاش الفرقة ديالك زعما كيفاش عايشين، كيفاش
واش غادي نقول لك
الايام يعني
آه، كورونا كورونا جات على الجميع، يعني كي كنسميوها حنا الصاعقه جات على الجميع. الانسان ما كانش ضامن هذا الشيء، يعني بنادم كان غادي في سفينة الله، بنادم خدام، بنادم كان ناوي شحال الحوايج زوينين، والحمد لله ملي جات كورونا يعني تبدل كل شيء. مشتعين تبدل كل شيء، الناس قاست الحقيقة. بالخصوص حنا الميوزيسيان اللي في هذا الميدان قصينا شوية بزاف، قصينا ما كاين خدمة، ما كان قبض خدامي، كانوا سفرات، كان عندنا بزاف. انت شتي البروجي اللي كان عندي انا وياك، اللي كان عندي مع الناس، كلشي رجع، كلشي والحمد لله. قصينا حنا والبنات اللي معايا تا هما مساكن، تا هما قص، ماشي غير حنا، تنهضر انا على الجميع صراحة الله. كلشي الله يكون ليه في العون، حيت علاش هاد الميدان حنا كنصوروا به طرف الخبز، عايشين منه، مكبرين به وليداتنا، مكبرين به العائلة، هازين به كاع الحمل كله، ولكن في درمشتعين ما لقينا راسنا بحال ما كاين والو. حاجه وحده، الناس اللي الله يمن عليها انسان، الناس اللي عندهم شويه راه مشاو مع الوقت، والناس اللي مساكن ما كاين احتياط، ما اللي جاب الليل حتى نهار، الناس عانت بزاف قصات. وكنتمناو ان شاء الله يا ربي الحمد لله راه الوقت تبدلات شويه، وكنتمناو الخير للجميع، ويدخل علينا الله هذا العام بالخير والتيسير، وكاع علينا وي شي حاجه الله يسرها ليه للجميع، واللي في شي ميدان الله يسهل عليه. وكنطلب من بنادم، من الناس الحقد، حيدوا الناس الحقد ويحيدوا الناس الكراهيه، وبحال بحال حنا راه في هذا الميدان بحال الحمد لله. الا كان قلبك زوين راه كلشي زوين، الا كان قلبك حاقد وقلبك هذا ما كاين والو، يعني بنادم راه ما غادي يوصل لوالو. ولهذا تنطلبوا الله يبدل علينا الساعه بالخير، ونتلاقاو في شي ساعه الخير، وكل الله يسهل عليه وكل الله يعاونه. هذا هو اللي بغيت نقول. كنتمناو الحياه ترجع كي كانت، نطلبوها عند الله، ترجع الحياه كي كانت، والناس تخدم، الناس تصور رزيق، الناس تكون مع راسها. هادشي اللي
امين
وكان
ان شاء
بين
الله.
كان بنشكر كاع الناس اللي تبعوا هذا اللايف، كان بنشكرهم داخل الوطن وخارج الوطن، المغاربه بصفه عامه. كان بنشكرهم بزاف بزاف كاع اللي تابعنا في هذا اللايف. وكان بنشكر فاطمه الازادي، اللي هي ما غاديش نقول لك اختي ولا اختي وصاحبتي وكل شيء. كنتمنى لها الخير حيت كتبغي ليا الخير صراحه الله. وانتيا اسراء، الله يوفقك حتى انتي. وكنتمنى اني نكون في حسن الظن معاك ومع حاتم حتى هو، ان شاء الله
الله
نتلاقاو في شي
يخليك.
ساعه سعيده. وشكرا عبد المولى، ولدي وعزيز
عبد
عليا.
المنعم.
المنعم زوجي واحد الشوفه، عبد المنعم الزين الغزال، الله يرضي عليه. راه ولدي وكيتعامل معايا ديما، ماشي كيهضروا. وكنبغي نشكر كاع الناس كاملين، وكنبغي نشكر واحد السيده لا داعي لذكر الاسم، ولكن كنبغي نشكرها. فيها كل شيء، فيها اختي، فيها صاحبتي، كل شيء اللي ما ولاتش اليوم صراحه. مع هذا اللايف كنبغي نشكرها بزاف بزاف، لانه قصت معايا بزاف وزدت معايا الحلو بزاف. ونتمنى لها الخير، الله يخرج لها ركدها ووليداتها. تحيه للجميع. كنبغي نعطي التحيه لولدي عز الدين، وخويا رشيد، خويا خالد، والويساتي اللي عزاز عليا، كنحماق عليهم كلهم، فاطمه الزهراء، وكاع الحباب كاملين. وكنبغي نعطي التحيه للمجموعه ديالتي، ما غاديش ننساها وما عمرني ننساها. المجموعه ديالتي اللي هي كلهم البنات، كل وحده بالاسم ديالها. انا كنعطي تحيه من هما، بلا بهم هما انا ما نسوى والو، بلا بيا انايا هما ما يسوى والو. حيت واحد زائد واحد كتعطيك جوج، الا كان واحد ناقص واحد كيعطيك صفر. الخير والسلامه كلهم البنات، كاع اللي خدموا معايا حتى هما كنتمنى لهم
يحفظك خديجه، ربي
الله
يخليك.
يحفظك.
الخير. الجميع كاع اللي في هذا الميدان الله يسهل عليه، احنا الله يسهل علينا. هادشي اللي كاين.
امين.
وخديجه الورزازيه، راه هي خديجه الورزازيه، باقا خديجه الورزازيه كتخدم
تحيه خديجه،
خليك ليها.
للجدان
تحيه
والجدان.
الله يطول عمرك.
الله يحفظك. انا طراب الناس، انا طراب الناس، انا راه كنخدم لاي واحد، وانا طراب الناس، وكنموت عليكم وكنحماق عليكم المغاربه كاملين والجاليه المغربيه والدول كل شيء. خديجه الورزازيه هي خديجه الورزازيه.
تحياتي تحياتي.
ما عمرني نتكبر عليكم، ما عمرني نتكبر.
Wait, so I just want to translate غير نترجم شنو قلتي. Khadija, just wrapping up, she just wants to say about coronavirus, to go back to what she said about coronavirus. She said that it has really, really affected the people, the local folks, and they were not prepared. Musicians, especially, were not prepared or ready for this, especially at a time where her band was particularly, stable and working a lot and successful. And they will continue their success, inshallah, of course. It's just she said that Corona also had flipped everything under, over at its head, and that traditional artists are the most vulnerable, because they are the ones who use their arts particularly to uplift their entire communities. They feed their children, they take care of their families. All of the money and the work from their from their art, right? So art is not only something that people do for fun. This is literally their livelihood. So it's Corona has uh, has put their livelihoods at risk essentially. But she's hoping a lot for the future. She's wishing good wishes on all the traditional artists, all people in Maghreb who are struggling, who are trying to take care of their families. She ends with a positive note, wishing that everybody would do well, that we continue on with a kind heart. She thanks so many people. She thanks me, Hatim. She thanks Fatima Al Azadi, who also was somebody very involved in this project. Uh, was somebody very involved with Hatim in developing these videos as well. Fatima helped put this together. Abdul to Abdul Mu'anim. to Abdel to Abdel, of course, because he's our tech person. And also to all these folks, there we go, special folks, Maha, Aziz, all the folks who are listed on the screen, Mehdi Kindi, Soraya, Layal, Kautar. Also, she gave a little shout out to Azzuddin, her son. And yeah, this has been amazing. This has been
Yes. Thank you so much. So I think we're almost gonna get kicked out. Nah.
واحد الكلمة الله يستر عليك. وبغيت نعطي بغيت نوجه الشكر الكبير لمها لدار بلالج. مها اللي هي تنحسبوها هاد الدار دارنا، والله يكبر بها، الله يجازيها بخير. وراه اللي قال هذاك ما دوزناش قليل معاهم وكيعرفوا بحقنا. كنوجه لها الشكر الكبير هي والناس اللي خدامين معاها كاملين. انا كنوجه لها الشكر الكبير وتنقول لها شكرا على المعامله اللي كتعاملي معايا وما عمرك سديتي بابك عليا.
أنا عزيزة عليا بزاف مها، كنشكرها بزاف مها ودار الدرج. So yeah, we're talking that she wanted to extend another hearty thanks to.
كلشي كاع البنات اللي خدامين هنا الله يعمرها دار، وتنتعاملوا معاهم وتنخدموا معاهم. الله يعمرها دار، وتنبغيو نترحموا على سوزان بيدرمان، تنبغيو نترحموا عليها، الله يرحمها. هي انسانه كانت معنا ديما في المستوى، الله يرحمها.
الله يرحمها. So Khadija is currently at Dar Belej, which is the same place where we recorded and filmed the videos that we showed you today. She's just in a different place that doesn't look like it. But so this is another reason why she's extending yet another heartfelt thank you to Maha, the director of Dar Belej, and the entire team there that's been really generous. They always go above and beyond. So thank you very much. I think at this point the YouTube will automatically shut down. I don't know how this works, but it is 2 p.m. So thank you so much, everyone. Shukran Khadija, shukran Isra, shukran Jumhur. And this was a really beautiful event. I'm really happy that we were able to share this moment with you. And please go to remix-culture.org. The Khadija website is now live, so you can download the samples if you want. You can do it. You can watch the videos. You can watch all the videos that we didn't show. There's a lot of stuff that you can do over there. And then, of course, if you want to support the band and Remix Culture, you can buy the album from the website on the Bandcamp link. You can also, if you like our work, you can also donate to our organization. There is a donate button on the top of the website. Thank you so much, Esra, for all of the work that you put into this project and for helping make this a really fun conversation. One last word, Khadija, نعم.
بغيت نشكر عبد الغفور. هادي باش اللي قال عبد الغفور ولدي، كنحسبو ولدي، كنبغي نشكرو بزاف. والله يرضي عليه والله يسهل عليه حتى هو، والله يعاونو في الميدان ديالو، وعزيز عليا وديما غادي يبقى عزيز عليا.
تحية بعبد الغفور. هو right next to her right now.
Mm-hmm. She's sending another shout out. She has a whole list of people that she loves and wants to thank, and so this is yet another shout out that she was like, I can't forget this guy, but he's very dear to her heart, and she feels like he's like a son to her. All right, Thank you so much.
صافي سالينا.
صافي سالينا سدات مدام. السلام عليكم، مساء الخير، يلا إلى اللقاء. Till we meet again.
باي باي.
Bye bye.